Namaste everyone and welcome to Om Incense Show with DJ. So today we are doing yet another podcast. So you might just want to grab your favorite beverage and snacks and relax while I give you company. We are again doing a chapter on Egyptian incenses. We've already done two other podcasts on this, and we've discussed the incense culture and Kyphi. And this is from the book The Complete Incense book by Suzanne Fisher Rizzi. We're now reading the incense ingredients that were used in Kyphi. We've already done frankincense and myrrh, and today we are doing opoponax. It's sweet myrrh, Commiphora aerateria, Commiphora Cartaf Engler, Opoponax Chironicum Koch. Opoponax, also called sweet myrrh or bisabol myrrh, is a close relative of myrrh. Both belong to the family of the balsam tree, Burseraceae. So this Burseraceae species is something that you'll often come across when you do incense, when you read about incense ingredients. This species has most of the fragrant incense resins that we have comes from this species. In ancient times, people obtained opoponax from the Opoponax Chironicum Koch family, but opoponax has almost been forgotten and is not available on the market anymore. Today, we use the opoponax resin from bisabol myrrh instead. Both seem to have very similar fragrances. The resin is in the form of a rough, almost unsightly clump, but smell it and you will be in for a surprise. This unsightly, dirty brown clump has a very gentle lavender fragrance. During the burning process, it develops an aromatic, sweet, balsam-like, pleasant aroma that is reminiscent of the cork of a red wine bottle or of old libraries filled with secrets. The aroma is lighter than that of the original myrrh. Different cultures used opoponax in incense burning against negative influences. People believed that the fragrance of opoponax created a shield that protected against disasters waiting outside. Wow, that's nice. Traditionally, they also believed that opoponax was capable of increasing intuition. Using this resin for incense burning works well to strengthen the senses and increase awareness. It supports intuition and inspiration. Opoponax strengthens exercises for balancing one's aura. Opoponax resin should not be too old because it loses its gentle fragrance over time. To determine its quality, break off a piece and see if the surfaces are slightly oily and wet. Opoponax or bisabol myrrh is available on the market now. The reddish-brown solid resinoid is made from the raw gum resin of the opoponax through alcohol extraction. This is the form you want to use for incense burning. As with all resins, make sure it's free of any remnants of the solvent. If remnants remain, they will evaporate during the incense burning and the fumes may be detrimental to your health. Burn the resin on charcoal. So we have quite a few charcoal in the market these days, and we also have those non-toxic ones. I guess something that doesn't have potassium nitrate in it. So you might just want to go in for that one because I guess it gives off the fragrance even better. I'm not sure because I haven't used it, but I've just heard it from people who have used it. Or probably you could even go for the incense warmers, so those could also be a good one. Balsam, Makkah balsam. Balsamodendron gileadensis, Commiphora opobalsamum, Balsamodendron necaensis gled, Mecaensis, Commiphora cut Engel. Balsam, also called balsam of Gilead, was a very precious substance in antiquity. Balsam was often part of the Kyphi recipes. Judea had the monopoly on balsam trees, and Egypt imported its resins from there. During the wars between the people of Judea and Rome, all the forests were destroyed. It's amazing how people keep fighting over stupid stuff and destroying things. At the same time, the Egyptians attempted to start plantations of these trees. Balsam from Gilead is almost never available on the market. And then in the bracket it's also written see also chapter on Israel. So I think we should read that chapter on Israel also. Labdanum, Cistus creticus, Cistus ladanifer. This resin is from the rock rose shrub. The best aroma of labdanum comes from a plant originally found in Crete and imported by the ancient Egyptians. They used this gum for incense burning, but also as perfume and for embalming. The resin was primarily used in mixtures. It was an ingredient used in Kyphi recipes. The Egyptians added the wax-like gum to other pulverized substances and shaped the mixture into the pellets that were extremely popular at the time. Benzoin. Benzoin Siam Storax tonkinensis, Benzoin Sumatra Styrax benzoin. This fragrant resin originally came from Sumatra, Thailand, and Laos. At first, Indian merchants brought it to Egypt via the ocean, but later merchants transported it on the frankincense route. Benzoin resin has a sweet, balsam-like fragrance that resembles vanilla. Since it has the same makeup as vanilla, the Egyptians used it for incense burning mixtures they considered to be joyful. Benzoin from Thailand has a sweeter fragrance than benzoin from Sumatra. Both resins are available today. Benzoin from Thailand is very expensive and is considered the more precious of the two. The Egyptians preferred the fragrance of benzoin from Sumatra. Because it does not develop a very pleasant aroma when burnt individually, people use the resin primarily in mixtures. It burns very quickly and the smoke is rather biting. If you want to experiment and use it by itself, cut it in small pieces and place them on aluminum foil on the charcoal or on top of an incense burning stove. The effect is relaxing, calming, expanding. Incense burning with benzoin is good in the evening when it is usually mixed with sandalwood and cinnamon. It stimulates imagination and inspiration and is therefore appropriate when involved in creative work such as painting and playing music. In addition to its sensuous components, benzoin fragrance is also very comforting and very appropriate during bouts of sadness and when nurturing emotional injuries. It conveys a feeling of inner peace. For these purposes, mix it with frankincense and cedar. In the bracket it says see also chapter on India. Then we have cinnamon. Cinnamomum zeylanicum. God, it's like it's like it's such a tongue twister. The fragrance of cinnamon was very popular in Egypt. Egyptians imported the bark of the cinnamon and the dried blossoms from Arabia. Originally, the fragrance was produced from the bark of an African tree, Amyris cataf. Not until later did the people of ancient Egypt import cinnamon from Ceylon. The essential oil of cinnamon, used for medicinal purposes, cosmetics, and embalming, was also obtained from the bark of this tree. Cinnamon is highly effective in killing bacteria and for conservation, both of which were well known to the people of Egypt at that time. The fragrance is warm, spicy, and sweet. Today, cinnamon bark is easily obtainable as a spice. You can buy dried cinnamon blossoms in specialty shops carrying incense ingredients. The bark and the flowers work well for mixtures that need to be warm and sweet. You can burn the flowers alone over charcoal or in an incense burning stove. Mastic, Pistacia lentiscus. The transparent, tear-shaped resins from the mastic tree generally comes from the Greek island of Chios. It's Chios. I'm not sure if it's Chios or Chios. Egypt imported this popular incense from that island. It was an ingredient used in Kyphi recipes, but people also used it individually. Mastic has a gentle, balsam-like fragrance. It is clarifying, cleansing, and balancing. In ancient Egypt, mastic was also called the fragrance that pleases the gods. Then we have cedar. Is Cedrus libani, Cedrus deodara, Cedrus atlantica. Cedrus deodara is one of my favorite fragrances. I really like it. But unlike the essential oils, or I haven't come across a good incense that, with the the cedar fragrance. But if you have to go visit some hill station somewhere in the Uttaranchal or Himachal, or I even remember the fragrance in Kashmir, oh God, it's amazing. Burning incense with cedar twigs and finely grated cedar wood was a very common practice in ancient Egypt. In the hot Egyptian climate, the fragrance of these evergreen trees created a comfortable, refreshing, and woody atmosphere. The most favored cedar was the Lebanon cedar. Wow. Ancient Egyptians considered the wood of the cedar tree to be indestructible. They used cedar oil for mummification. In the early days of the Egyptian Empire, they often buried kings with cedar wood and branches. Today, we use the dried needle, the resin, or the wood. Because cedar creates a great deal of smoke when used by itself, you should only use it for incense burning outside. It creates less smoke when added to mixtures in powdered form. Cedar provides a warm, balsam-like fragrance. Good substitutes for Lebanon cedar are the Himalayan cedar, Cedrus deodara, and the Atlas cedar, Cedrus atlantica. Ancient Egyptians used the resin of the pine tree, Abies silicea, to make rare salves. The resin and wood of Abies silicea were a substitute for cedar. Another evergreen used for incense burning in ancient Egypt was the avar tree, AVAR. When dried, the tips of the branches have a resinous, spicy, somewhat strong fragrance. The resin of this tree, also called sandalwood, is very similar to frankincense resin. So we've done till page 76, and now the other things that we have left, the other ingredients that we have left are juniper, white cedar, galbanum, storax, calamus, and there are quite a few others. So we'll be doing them in the upcoming episodes. For now, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you think somebody else can enjoy it too, share it with them. If you liked it, give it a like. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Let me know which is your favorite incense ingredient and how do you use it. And till we meet again next, take very good care of yourself, and I thank you so much for listening to this episode. Namaste.